So today I'm going to show you how to build one of these coffin box Rem pods from start to finish. I'm going to turn it on real quick, show you what it does. Okay. Hey everyone, John Huntington here. I just wanted to show people how to make a Rem pod. I usually make them in, just want to show people how to make Rem pods. I usually make them in coffin boxes or anything really, but I want to show you how to make a coffin box Rem pod. The first thing that you're going to want to get is a theremin kit. It's a Mad Lab one. I got this one off Amazon. It was like $18, probably $20 with taxes and everything like that. You can get them cheaper on eBay, but it just takes longer to get them in the mail. Okay, so when you get the kit, it comes in a little bag like this. And you also get instructions on how to build it. So it even tells you, like, for the resistors, it'll tell you like what ones you need, what colors you need, or where they go. It tells you everything. You need a soldering iron, which I have next to me, some tin, of course, instructions. And I have different LED lights. You can use whatever you want. Actually, it comes with 4 red ones if you want to just do all red, but I like to do different ones. You can buy them in bulk, but right now I got green, orange, yellow, and red. Okay, so here's the kit. I'm not going to need this stuff because it's what I was using for my spirit box stuff. Okay. So what I do is I make sure it's all clean in the area. That was like the ideal working environment. So anyways, I don't usually use these. I mean, you can, and then you can make your own switch and everything. But I usually buy these because you can just use an on and off switch. You don't have to wire it with another switch. Just easier to use. What else? Oh, and I ordered these coffin boxes here online. I think they're about up to $5 each, I think. And you can paint on whatever you want to do. But I got one in there that I'm putting stain on. It's in the bath right now. And I've already pre-drilled all the holes for it. So yeah, so here's the kit. So, of course, you need a 9-volt battery. I'm not using any of these red ones. A little bit. Oh, I think that's good. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so these red ones, it's red LEDs. I'll set to the side so you don't need them. Okay. This is just the kit. This shit will be like everywhere. Stuff will be everywhere in it. So, don't be surprised if you're missing stuff too. I've had that happen, which sucks. This is the antenna. I like to people sometimes wire it to a regular antenna, but I just like using the one that comes with it. Seems to be working out better that way. So, like on the paper here, it'll say, let's say, so there's like, this is 3 here, R3, R6, R7 are all the same diode. I don't think see it's backwards or not, but R6, R7, see that okay. R6, R3, R6, R7s are brown, black, brown. So there's going to be 3 of those. So what I usually do is, there's a package of 3 here. So it's going to be those, brown, black, brown. Okay, and then the other ones are, there's one is going to be 2 together, those same. Usually they're packaged like this one, but this time I don't think it is. I don't believe it is. Okay, so there's 2 1Ks. So brown, black, red. Brown, black. Okay, this looks like brown, black, red. That's brown, black, orange. See them? Okay, take these off. So first I bend them like this. You can see I bend them like this. And I do all 3. It doesn't matter which way, these face. There's no positive or negative to these. Okay, so there's 3. And I'll put this up just a little bit so you can see a little better. If I can. Okay, so these resistors is 3, and they are R3, R6, and R7 on the board. So you find it on the board, you find R3, R6, and R7. So here's R3, stick them in. So what I like to do is I like to push them in flat as I can. Okay, and then in the back, I'll bend them a little bit to hold them in place. Just things I've learned over the last year on soldering. Okay, R3, so R3, R6, which is right here. Okay, R6, push it in, fold it in, bend the sides, and back, so like that. And then the last one is R7. Okay, so if I want to get 2 up, which is right here, the red ones, brown, black, red, which is R4 and R5. So we'll do the same thing, bend them. Okay, now, this is pretty basic soldering. It's not too difficult. So if you want to learn to solder, there's some good videos online to solder. So you kind of learn to solder before you do this, but this is good stuff to practice on. So find R4, which is right here. Okay, and then we got R5, which is right next to it. Okay, there's R5. All right, bend them back. And then we got the 2. Orange. So this is brown, black, orange, which is R2. Brown, black, orange, which is R2. So for R2, it's like a puzzle. It's kind of cool. Alright. So we bend those. Okay. And we got 1 left, which is brown, black, green. Alright, brown, black, green. Let me see it. Can you see it? And yeah, brown, black, green. So R1. So R1. So here. Okay. If you don't feel comfortable bending these and soldering, you can always put tape on the other side, hold on place. Luckily use this. I probably should use this. But I just do it right here. I just hold it. Okay, so solder in, solder, and just solder on a step. Alright, so after all these solder, check it over, make sure the hole or anything like that. Now what you want is this, one of these, or fingernail clippers, or something, just something to cut it. I have a thing that catches all the metal down here, so I just cut all the metal off as close as you can to the board, so nothing's touching anything. So cut all that off. Okay. Alright. Okay, so these are all cut and soldered. On one of these, on these little capacitors, you want the negative is the short end, the positive is the long end. So you look on here, okay, and it'll show negative on the board, and you just make sure negative goes in the right spot, positive goes in the right spot. Yeah. So, okay, so next you have these little chips that are on the board. So we'll make sure and use these. You want to solder these in first, okay? And you want to make sure the notches, see these little notches right here? You want to make sure you put these in and the notches line up. There's a notch on here and a notch on there, it lines up. Okay? And you might have to put something under it to hold it in place, or tape or something, and then you just solder all that in. Okay, there's actually 2 of them. So we solder all this in. So what I like to do is I like to take, okay, what's in there, it's just lined up. Okay, what I like to do is I stick something underneath it. I usually have like a piece of styrofoam or something, set it on it, I don't see it. But yeah, anyway, I should just want to stick something on it to hold it in place. No, it's not on it. So I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna use a piece of tape. I have one. Here's one. So I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna use a piece of tape. Okay. Just to hold it in place. Make sure it's a good connection. There we go. It's connected. Okay, let me solder these together. These are kind of sold towards you than it is side to side. So all you do is solder downwards. Okay. There we go. Sometimes the soldering iron cools down while you're sitting there. Okay. All right. Okay. I do recommend a magnifying glass if you have one. I do have one, but I really don't. I can see great close up. Okay, so that's soldered on. All right, and I'm gonna find the chip that goes in it. So what I've noticed is the chip in the middle. This is how I usually go by. The chip in the middle has. Usually takes the 3 lines. Okay, so picture here. Show this. Chips. IC1, IC2. This is R1. No, IC1 is NE55. So this one's NE55. Okay, which is this one here. So go on these all. Okay. Usually I go by the writing, but the writing's similar on these. So the middle one. The middle one is the 1-2F. This one is one, it says 1-2F on it, that goes in the middle. The NE555 goes on the outer edge when you get to that. And on this one too, it does have a notch. It does have a little notch. And you gotta line that notch up with here. Okay. So you line these up as best you can. And sometimes you gotta bend these a little bit, just to get them to fit. Okay, and still make sure everything lines up. And once you line it up. Everything will line up perfectly, the notches, everything's lined up. Push it in tight, and you're done with that one. And then move on to this one, which is the NE55, which is on the very edge, top right. Once again, use your tape, hold that in place, okay? And we solder this on, and usually come towards me. The light is horrible, probably can't see anything, but yeah, just solder this. Okay, I like to solder top to bottom towards me. I mean, it's not fighting anything, just, just easy that way. Okay, that's all soldered. Everything's good. And the same thing for this one. You just line it up, push it in, make sure the notch lines up with the other notch. It can be a pain sometimes to line it up. Okay, it's in there, it's snapped in, she's in there good. Press firmly. Okay, so on this, I don't use these. I just take these out. But then, because I like to use the two different tones it makes, so what I do is I get a switch, which push button switch, like this. Okay, this will change the tones, and push it. There's 2 different tones to these. A lot of people don't use that, but I like to have the 2 tones. I drill in a hole for that. Yeah. So then, all right, so that's all soldered together. Everything's cut. I never soldered these together. There it is. That's all good. Okay, that's soldered together. Everything's good. We're good. Okay, so I like to take a wire, any wire really, and I'll choose green. Okay, so what we're gonna do? Cut 2, about the same length. Okay. Right. Cut the ends a little bit. Start the ends. Okay. It's gonna make a jumper. It's a good jumper wire. Okay, cut 2. If solid wire, it'd work better than braided as far as this is braided, but solid wire would be easier if you had it. This is 22 gauge, I believe. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go from here, run wire from here to here. Like we're gonna have like here to here, and then this one to here. Okay, solder the bottoms, and this one's gonna come out to the switch. So you want to solder it like this, where these usually go. Okay, and then you're gonna have 2 wires coming out right here. 2 wires coming here, one here, and one down there. So it's gonna be 2 coming out to this push switch. So what I usually do is I usually run the switch through the box I'm working on, and then I'll hook it right up and solder it right to there. So, okay, so this is the speaker, the last thing. These are pretty loud. I mean, you can cut a hole in the box that you're working on and put the speaker in if you like, but they are pretty loud. You usually don't have to do that. So this is gonna go into this coffin box. So the first thing I do is I have these all drilled out. Find the right size. I'm not sure exact size to use for a drill. And you can put whatever colors you want. Okay, glue gun. Set that off to the side for now. Okay. And okay, so first we're gonna put green in. I like to get a 9-volt and test it just in case. So I usually take a 9-volt, okay, before I put anything in and I test it. Just so I know it works before I put it in. So negative, positive, yep, okay, it's good. I want green bottom. So stick green here. Okay. And push it in. Okay. Okay, that one good. And now I like to go green, yellow, orange, red. Green, yellow, kind of. Okay, do the yellow. And you can always cut these shorter if you want them shorter. Okay, so push those through. Kind of lock them back and forth. Get through, there we go. It's in. Okay, so that's it. So, see that lines up. Get that up. Sounds good. Check orange. Maybe here, plus here. Good. Okay. So, put these on in. Red top. Okay, work that in. Put it around. Touch through. Okay, test it. Okay, so that goes over. Okay, that's it. Yep, we're good. Okay, so get all these. Alright. Add these antenna. Now we need to switch holes. So I'm going to hold here with a switch. It's right here. Okay. And we need it big enough for it to screw through. So you have the right size. Get that nut off. Okay. You got the right size. So I think this one might be too big. No, it's close. Should be fine, I guess. That should just right actually. Okay. So now we got the old screw gun here. Okay, and through. Should be good size because you have some leeway with it because it has to come down through and it has this little thing right here. So I like to put it right over here. Okay, so close as you can. You can measure if you want. We're pretty good at hiding it. Just like anything else, we'll go back and forth. Okay, so the switch actually screwed in perfectly on one side. You can see I kind of messed up the way it looks worse on camera than it actually is. But it's in there perfectly tight. Okay, so next you're going to want to either put the antenna in or, so on this, the numbers on it say like 1, they say like, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, they're actually opposite. So our first color is green, so I'm green going 4. So green will go 4, and then yellow is opposite. So green, yellow, orange, red. So it's all going to be opposite what it says on the board. I found that out the hard way. So yeah, you want to do that. So basically solder all those in, and you solder the switch on these two. Solder the switch here and there. Okay, now this camera sucks. Yeah. Strip one end, doesn't matter which end. So strip one end. Let's see here, I'll strip it. Okay. And then you want to put it, you can see or not, I usually put it right here. That's where the metal is. Okay, and I solder it there. So basically this is how I have it. So it holds it in place really well. Okay. So now I want to solder in the switch, and So the battery pack too, so glue, actually a glue gun it. So next I want to glue all these into place, and you want to hold them into place so they're flat. So kind of glue, just a little bit of glue. Okay. All right, around each one. A little dab will do ya. Okay. And you can put some around the switch too if it's not in there that good. So then you get those straight and then move them all straight as I can get. Alright. So I have all these glued in, all the lights are glued in, as you can see, and all the lights are solid. So they're all solid. I went and glued this on. So I glued this on and screwed it. This is the battery pack. Okay. So the next thing. And on this side, I cut this little thing about halfway, just so it'll slide and lock in place, because you put the screw in there, kind of would get in the way. Okay, that's it. So then you stick the wires through the hole I made in the back. Okay. So you feed those through. Okay, those are through. Okay. So next thing you want to do is take the board here, and you want to, like I said before, the numbers are all kind of like backwards. So if you want like the green one led first, put a number 4, and then so on. So the numbers are kind of backwards. So and if you look at it, negatives on the outside here, and first this one here, and negatives on the inside. So it's opposite all the way down through. It's another thing you have to look out for. Okay. So I want green first. So green, positive. Okay. So green and positive. So they're here. Oh, I don't actually want to do this one. I'm sorry. So you got green, it's positive, it's up there. Okay. You want to do one at a time. These ones are really not much to work with, and I don't like cutting or adding wire to it, just because when I do that, it won't fit into the board. So let's try it out. We'll see. Alright, where is it? Right here. Okay. So sew the rest together. Oops. Yep. So that's on there. Alright. So that's positive, green. You want to take the negative in there. Okay. Sew that in there. So now we got negative and positive hooked up. You want to go to the next light that you want to light up second, which is yellow. So you got to remember the ground is on the opposite side than the last one. So we're going to do ground first. Okay. If you can, you want to bend it, maybe bend it a little bit, hold it in place. Okay. My eyes are getting kind of tired now, so. Okay, I think I got it. Oh, I missed it. Alright. Take these off. My glasses. Alright, so here. Okay, so so that's good, got it. Alright, and positive for yellow. Alright, if you can, bend just a tad bit, hold it in place. That's alright. Okay. Alright, I don't know if that is or not. Nope, I didn't. Okay. Not much of a wire sticking out there to heat it up, so. Okay, that's in. And so just keep going down the line. I want orange next. Okay. And, okay, so negative is on furthest. Oh, okay. Try to bend it if you can. Hold it in place. Oops, that's on the wrong. Oh, sorry. Okay. So there we go. That's in there. And now, positive part, which is closest to me. Stick it in there. So that's it. There we go. Let's stick it straight. So we go through the hole. Bend it a little bit. Solder it. Okay, so last but not least, we are doing red and negatives closest to me. Okay, it's just easier to do it one by one. If you try to do more than one, it's gonna mess up. So, all right, right here, and bend it back. Okay. All right. So now we got all the colors lined up. We got green number 4, which would be number 1. 3 is number 2, so on and so forth. Everything should be up. Now this one's over the battery wires. Deposit negative, which is right here. Okay, so the next part, what we want to do is we want to wire this switch, okay? And the switch was right here where we had the jumper wires for the presets. So I think I'm going to stick it through here. Yep, right through there. And negative, I believe, comes out here. Either way, I think it works. If I remember right. Okay. I think I remember negative being closest to me. I could be wrong. I'll find out. It's a push button switch, so it should work either way, I believe. Alright, so I'm kind of far away from here. So let's see. Okay. There we go. Right, should work. There we go. And positives right here. Okay. Right. Get everything hooked up. Alright. We want to put this as close as we can to the antenna. Okay. So this usually fits perfectly in here. Like it'll usually lock right in. I mean, you could screw it in if you want, but it should be fine. Like, see how it fits perfectly and then it just locks. Alright, so here is antenna. Okay, and stick it through here and as close as we can to it. Let's stick it straight out as much as we can. Okay, stick the antenna out through. Okay, this is in here, it's not going to go anywhere. Everything's wired, antenna's through, and then we just shut it up, close it up, make sure no wires are sticking out. Okay. Make sure no wires are sticking out, and it's in the way right there. Right, so then close this up. Okay. To turn it on, it's right here. Turn it around so you see it. Okay. Okay. And if you want to change the tone, okay, then you're all done. That was it. About an hour and a half later, 2 hours. Alright guys, I hope this helps some of you. Alright guys, so it's about 12 o'clock at night and I hope this video helps somebody. It's a lot of fun to do, it's a lot of work, but it's pretty cool. I hope you enjoy this. Thank you.